Hey there, folks. Welcome to Spectrum Pulse. We talk about music, movies, art, and culture, and it's Billboard Breakdown. I don't remember. You know, it's funny. When I made my rule about album bombs just last week, I was expecting that it'd face a challenge sooner rather than later with something that was a little bit smaller. And sure enough, skating right under the wire with 7 new songs from an album that I haven't quite covered though, even though it's on my schedule, we got a smaller album bomb from Lil Baby and Gunna from Drip Harder. And that's before we tack on a considerable chunk of A Star Is Born here. Almost makes you forget that 21 Pilots also put out a project, but hell, they sneaked in too. And to my surprise, it actually did impact the top 10. Somewhat. Not at the very top, where yet for another week, Girls Like You by Maroon 5 featuring Cardi B held on to number 1, really thanks to just radio dominance and lingering YouTube at this case, because in other categories, it has lost traction. Yep, it was enough to keep it above Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD, which rose up to number 2, but was kept from getting any higher by lagging in all categories except on-demand streaming, and that margin can only make up for so much. Then we got Better Now by Post Malone up to number 3, which despite better sales hit its own radio peak, and on-demand streaming has really fallen off. I don't really expect it to get much higher either, as that video didn't take off the way it should have. Now, what we did see was a new entry to the top 10 thanks to a massive surge in streaming that I hope to God doesn't last. Drip Too Hard by Lil Baby and Gunna at number 4. And considering radio and sales don't care at all about this, I don't really expect it to last. What also probably won't have a shot is our second new top 10 entry, Shallow by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, hitting number 5, riding huge sales and pretty much nothing else to his position. Again, I can see this dropping out really fast. And hell, that looks to be pretty good for Sicko Mode by Travis Scott, which held on to number 6 and has just enough airplay swell to seem mostly stable. Drop that video anytime, Travis. It's not going to get much better than right now. Then we get Youngblood by 5 Seconds of Summer up to number 7, which is somehow still riding radio momentum up, but is likely just filling in the gaps of missing Lil Wayne songs that dropped out. More on that in a bit. Which I'd also like to say was the case for Happier by Marshmello and Bastille, breaking into the top 10 at number 8, but its sales are even better and it's enjoying a radio surge right now, really narrowing that margin. Lovely. Now, the last 2 songs, they're re-entering the top 10 even though they're likely on their way out as a whole. I Like It by Cardi B featuring Bad Bunny and J Balvin at number 9, although YouTube will continue to prop this up for some time, and Fifi by 6ix9ine featuring Nicki Minaj and Murda Beats at number 10, which sadly might actually not have the radio, but actually has more stability on streaming. Just goddamn wonderful. And on a different note, our losers and dropouts. Unsurprisingly, the vast majority of the latter category is Lil Wayne, but he did manage to take out Rap Devil by Machine Gun Kelly and Drowns the Whiskey by Jason Aldean featuring Miranda Lambert along the way, the latter just likely to miss the year-end list for 2018. As for our losers, unsurprisingly, there's a lot of Lil Wayne here too, with Mona Lisa with Kendrick Lamar going to 23, Uproar falling to 29, Don't Cry with XXXTentacion falling hard to 60, Let It Fly with Travis Scott dropping to 67, Dedicate fading at 78, and Can't Be Broken breaking at 91. And the rest of our losers, they seem to be following the trajectory from last week, with Falling Down from Lil Peep and XXXTentacion mercifully dropping to 50, Kill Shot by Eminem missing out at 53, Africa by Weezer sliding down to 77, and Sunrise, Sunburn, Sunset by Luke Bryan fading down to 99. And this just leaves If I'm Lying, I'm Flying by Kodak Black to fizzle off the debut to 74. Good. But what's always interesting after the album bomb are the returning entries and gains. And while we had a fair few of the latter, we didn't quite get as many of the former as I was expecting. And most of them, they're pretty obvious. I already talked about Drip Too Hard and Shallow breaking into the top 10, but the album boost also bore fruit from Mo Bamba by Sheck West up to 24, and I can only hope it sputters out of energy fast. Beyond that, we saw revivals for Breathin' by Ariana Grande up to 55, and Better for Khalid up to 76, a modest boost for Lost in Japan by Shawn Mendes up to 82 after the re-entry and remix, and then Speechless by Dan and Shay up to 69, and High Hopes by Panic at the Disco up to 35 respectively, getting some of that radio traction. Now, where the story gets a little bit more interesting are our returning entries, because while of course 21 Pilots would have Jumpsuit and Nico and the Niners return to 79 and 95 respectively, I was amazed at the big return for Desperate Man by Eric Church up to 68. Now, it wasn't the biggest return, that was for Venom by Eminem riding the movie and music video to 43, 93, but hey, I'll take it most days, especially over Noticed by Little Mousy back up to 100. But now, the twin album bombs that I need to work through and 14 new arrivals, starting off with number 98, I Am by Lil Baby and Gunna.
I stayed down and I came up. Stayed the same and they changed up. I knew they was gon' change up. Money never gon' change us. I just be in my lane stuff.
Alright, look, a lot of the reviews are already calling this album a turd, and starting off with this certainly doesn't do much to alleviate that impression. For one, who the hell produced these blown out vocals where the bass is so badly mastered it swamps out everything? And it's not like either of these two have anything interesting to say beyond empty flexing that I assume is used to replace any sort of distinct sense of personality. So yeah, not really a lot to say. I hope they sticks in this lane. Come the next week or two, thankfully nobody will probably remember it. Number 97, Deep End by Lil Baby.
We got them sticks, we in the field, we playing defense. He got his ratchet, no like jacket, ready to dive in. Lil' homie thuggin', he can't even swim, he in the deep end.
So Lil Baby got both of his solo joints from his collaborative mixtape to drop here. Unlike Gunna, but if you go by the strength of the content, you can never tell, and this is the first of these solo songs. And again, who in the nine hells mastered this bass against the beyond forgettable synth and Lil Baby working his Young Thug ripoff? It sounds slapdash and awful, especially with Lil Baby substituting auto-tune for any well-structured flow, and none of it brings any sort of convincing menace, which for all the talk about guns and shooting people, you would think would be kind of essential. So yeah, somehow this is even worse. Next, number 93, Maybe It's Time by Bradley Cooper.
Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Takes a lot to change, man. Hell, it takes a lot to try. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die.
So here's my issue with the song. Yes, I'll easily say it's one of the better songs from A Star Is Born, not least because it was written by Jason Isbell, and Bradley Cooper is a good enough singer in order to make this work. But here's the thing, Bradley Cooper is an actor, and thus a lot of his diction on this song is just emulating the natural range and vocal timbre of Jason Isbell, who has a very much of a distinctive writing style and cadence. And he does this in a way that unfortunately kind of takes me out of the song and the movie respectively. It's the same problem I have with a lot of jukebox musicals. If I've got an intimate familiarity with the original and you're not making your cover seem all that distinctive beyond just a replica, mentally I'm gonna start thinking what the original could sound like, which in this case makes me think of what Jason Isbell's original would sound like here. Now, for the character singing it, the arc of the movie, it works. It's a good song, I really like it, but again, this could be great. Number 81, My Blood by 21 Pilots. One of the better songs from Trenches here. Not one of my personal favorites, and while I never expected Neon Gravestones to get traction, I'm a little bit surprised that the pop friendliness of the hype isn't being pushed to radio, but alright, it's fine enough. Yeah, the lyrics don't really do much for me beyond a near-suicidal desire to protect somebody, but the reason that anybody will come back to the song is that pulsating bass groove that plays off the brighter, fuller synth line. Although the mist where most of the vocals seem to exist means the song doesn't really climax at any point. I don't know, with that groove, I keep having the hope that the song will develop more punch and really click for me, and it just never quite happens, which keeps a good song from being great. I still like it, but again, it should be great. Number 80, Belly by Lil Baby and Gunna.
Spitting these vocals, labels think I wrote it. Slippery wet paints, the coops are candy coated. Just left the bank, I need a bet to hold it. The streets like a phone, cause all we ride is horses. Let my pants tell it, we done made a fortune. I rhyme with my dog and he ain't got a question.
Alright, seriously, do we have to go back to this track? Again, the problems are not going away. The bass mastering is terrible all over Gunna's poor man's Future impression, as the two throw increasingly forgettable bragging back and forth, the lazy guitar fragment serving as your drowned out melody. And trust me, Gunna, nobody thinks that you put serious effort into writing any of this, or that you resemble R. Kelly in any way. Although, given the current climate, why you'd want to be compared to him is utterly beyond me. So yeah, this sucks too, let's move on. Number 63, Is That Alright by Lady Gaga.
At the end of my life, I wanna see your face, wanna fall with grace at the moment I die.
we get one of the songs that doesn't really show up fully in the movie. A pretty straightforward piano ballad where Lady Gaga wants this guy to be with her until the very end. And sadly, it hits a few problems that are kind of endemic to a lot of the songs in this movie, namely kind of underwhelming and indistinct poetry, and the fact that it doesn't really have the detail or unique turns of phrase or melody that would get many folks to care about it beyond Lady Gaga's admittedly impressive singing. I mean, if this was the pop music that Bradley Cooper's character was objecting to in the film, I might be able to see more of his point, but it's clearly not framed like that, so it's just kind of undercooked and underwhelming. Just saying. Number 61, Business is Business by Lil Baby and Gunna.
We finally made it. Putting M's on all the Mercedes. Spend a whole M in the marble, you crazy. Bitches that shit, and I trust your old lady. Business is business, so you gotta pay me.
Another half-formed guitar line, awful mastering, and vocal production that sounds terrible against the hi-hat, more extended luxury porn I don't care about, and while Gunna does build to a decent flow, he describes it as a disease that kills rappers like AIDS. Is this worse than when Vanilla Ice described his rhymes like a chemical spill? Because I think it just might be. At least Lil Baby's just kind of forgettable, but yeah, this is terrible. Next, number 54, Off-White VLONE by Lil Baby and Gunna featuring Lil Durk and Nav.
Ice VVs, Icy VS1s, Off-White VLONE 1s, foreign's part of my line.
It's a bad sign when I found myself hoping that Lil Durk would come in and save the song, because Nav sure as hell wasn't going to be able to bring much to the table here, but none of it escapes the unbelievably bad bass mastering again that floods out even the minimalist piano we get here that had some potential. But man, I was even proven wrong with Lil Durk, because amidst all the brand name porn, Lil Durk tells his girl to suck his dick while she's on her period and she can't say no. Because that's what this song needed to go over well. Oh my god. Beyond that, the most interesting thing about this is Lil Baby hopping on a slower flow, and that's not enough to redeem it because he doesn't sound that good over it. Let's move on. Pass. Number 41, Always Remember Us This Way by Lady Gaga.
And the band won't play. I'll always remember us this way.
So again, this is one of those cuts where if I close my eyes, I can imagine songwriters like Lori McKenna or Natalie Hemby singing this, and I have to question that with a more sparse arrangement and a little bit less echo, I might actually like it more. Now that being said, Lady Gaga's more theatrical side does do her credit here, and she can make this song her own a little bit more effectively, and it winds up as one of the better cuts here, even if I do think it's missing a moment where a guitar solo really crashes in to put it on a different level. It is a better piano ballad, sure, and definitely one of the stronger cuts from this musical, but if I'm comparing this to the best of either songwriter behind it, not sure it's great. I'll just say it. Number 36, I'll Never Love Again by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Let the sunlight in. No, I'll never love again.
It's a sad thing when the real-life story behind Lady Gaga's performance on the song actually has more weight than what actually happened in the movie, at least to me, as one of her close friends died of cancer in the exact day she was going to be performing this song live, and she just missed saying goodbye by just a half an hour. She couldn't get back in time. And that gives Lady Gaga's raw upper register some deeper impact when she comes back to this, and makes this a clear case of an artist elevating a song that otherwise would not be all that special. Cause yeah, even given the dual context presented in the lyrics and the accents of electric guitar that do add some welcome foundation, it can feel a little bit too on the nose in the lyrics, and the pivot for the outro to the flashback of Bradley Cooper singing it. Look, I get the intended effect, it just didn't quite land as strongly as I was hoping. I don't know, it's not bad, but again, not great either. Number 28, Close Friends by Lil Baby.
I even went and bought a diamond rings, matching earrings, everything was so cool. Lately, baby, been acting so rude. I don't know what somebody told you, but ain't gon' lie, Mr. OU.
Okay, the second solo Lil Baby cut that seems to have a slightly better trap beat, but then the horrible bass mastering runs back into Lil Baby's attempt to be a crooner. That kinda kills the mood. But the romantic sentiment of the song seems really warped anyway. They started off friends, became lovers, and then she changed once he got money. But the weird thing is that he comes to no real conclusion about the situation because he's not gonna stop buying her things, and clearly is admitting that he'd probably do all the same thing again if he could. There's little reflection to the song. I mean, the best thing I can say say about it is that there's a bit more melody, but it's not like Lil Baby has the personality or good vocal production or presence in order to save this, so yeah, this isn't good either. Move on. Number 25, Stupid by 6ix9ine featuring Bobby Shmurda.
Drinking Henny, going crazy, popping pillay. Sex, money, murder, shout out all my blazing billy. We in your city, shout out my apes in the fucking zoo filet. Ain't gon' shoot, spin on who the fuck is you? Who the fuck you know, nigga?
You know, there's a part of me that just wants to point to the damn title of the song and say, it's exactly what you're getting on the tin. Cause really, what is there to even say about 6ix9ine at this point? Where even the bangers are betraying a serious lack of deeper personality or flair beyond the lowest common denominator, and nobody besides him seems to be having any fun. And when paired with a weedy synth and a chipmunk voice that's opening up the song, I'm left without a lot of nice things to say. I mean, the only other two interesting things about the song are Bobby Shmurda delivering his bars through a phone speaker from jail. He sounds a nice way to get a feature, and he still sounds decent enough even when I don't really care about his content. And then 6ix9ine dissed Ebro from Hot 97. And it's a weird thing to say, but given what happened with the whole drama around SummerSlam, I might actually be on 6ix9ine's side with that. And still, in a week full of awful production from Lil Baby and Gunna, it's at least tolerable. Yeah, dire times indeed. Number 18, Without Me by Halsey. So I've been hearing a lot of conflicting reports about the quality of this new Halsey song, which appears to be a solo record unattached to any album where she's trying to get as real as possible outside the whole Halsey persona. And maybe if you wanted to emphasize that, you wouldn't drown out half the song in reverb or keep tacking on vocal filters against this rickety trap progression. Take a lesson from Demi Lovato here, she got this right with Sober. But then we get to the lyrics, and let's separate this from any on and off again relationship that she has with G-Eazy, even though that's why this song actually got a swell to begin with. But I can't be the only one who thinks it's really damn unhealthy for her to focus so much on elevating this guy's insecurities and self-esteem that she will then take them upon herself and then gets neglected, especially when the critical line of the song is, I'm the one who put you up there, and now she seems stunned that he could actually live without her, which just makes her seem just as lightly toxic in this situation. Doesn't exactly make her that sympathetic. So yeah, this isn't good either. Next, and finally, number 15, Never Recover by Lil Baby and Gunna featuring
I'm
Durk.
mixing the dirty bills in with the profit. Clean that shit up and I give it right back to him. If I don't fuck with him, then I can't rap with him. I wanna beat it when somebody catches him. I wanna witness and see that shit.
It's a really bad sign when I'm stuck waiting for a Drake feature to save this, and then I reach the horrible realization he's gonna sound as badly produced as everybody else here. But to their credit, it doesn't quite sound as swamped out, and that means that the sharper hi-hats and eerie synth dominate more of the mix, and we can actually see Gunna and Lil Baby display no personality or wit on their verses, and somehow Lil Baby deliver an even worse hook than normal. And as for Drake, his verse is okay, the flow's alright, but I'm getting really sick of his lazy subliminal shots that he keeps throwing at Kanye and Pusha T. Dude, you lost the beef, and you sure as hell aren't making yourself look better by doing this. Beyond that, look, it's one of the more tolerable songs from Drip Harder, but the entire project sounds pretty bad, and I'm looking forward to knocking this off real quick on the trailing edge later this month, so stay tuned. And that was this week. Man, the quality is thin here. So I'm gonna go with Maybe It's Time by Jason Isbell, Bradley Cooper for the best, and honorable mention to My Blood by 21 Pilots. That groove, it gets there. Worst of the week, yeah, Business is Business by Lil Baby and Gunna, that'll get that. And they'll bring along Nav and Lil Durk for Off-White VLONE, which will get dishonorable mention. Although, they're really both terrible, you can swap them out any given time. Next week, you know what, I've got no idea. I'd be inclined to say an album bomb could be coming from Quavo or LMA, but streaming might not be enough on either of their sides, so we'll see there. Till then, I'm Mark, you're watching Billboard Breakdown on Spectrum Pulse, and I'll see you next time.